Spook Street by Mick Herron, narrated by Sean Barrett. For the first 3 books in this series, I gave them all an unequivocal 5 out of 5. For this one, I'd give it 4.5 out of 5. It's still excellent and streaks ahead of a lot of what is churned out these days, but there was just something that stopped me loving it unreservedly. Dare I say it, it felt like there was padding. Some conversations went on just a bit too long, and some things were overburdened with description, but these things were occasional. That said, I hope it's not a sign of things to come. All the previous books had extended scenes that perhaps gave a little too much description, but it never felt excessive. Here, it occasionally does. As always, there are several strands to this story. River Cartwright's grandfather, David Cartwright, is now exhibiting increasing signs of dementia, including forgetfulness and paranoia. However, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean someone isn't out to get you, and a man posing as River gains entry to David's house and tries to kill him. It doesn't end well for the intruder, and when the real River turns up, he decides the best course of action is to get his grandfather away as quickly as possible. River takes the intruder's ID and, tracing receipts back to a small village in France, he heads off on the Eurostar. Once in France, River finds out some uncomfortable family secrets involving his mother. Meanwhile, David Cartwright's worsening dementia is putting him at risk of revealing the many secrets he has held over the years. Therefore, he's a potential target from 2 sides: MI5, who might want him out of the way before he reveals too much, and anyone nefarious who might want to get to those secrets. The man sent to murder him earlier has links to someone Rivers seems to be tracking down. The next strand involves a terrorist attack on a shopping centre in London. The shopping centre massacre strand begins with a bomb explosion at Westacres, killing 40 civilians in what appears to be a terrorist attack disguised as a flash mob. However, as the Slough House team investigates the attempt on David Cartwright, they uncover connections between the attack, MI5's internal politics, and Cartwright's past operations. And as they investigate, they come up against an enemy agent with what can only be described as Herculean powers. The final strand involves Frank Harkness, a former intelligence officer. However, I can't say much more about him or how he's connected without giving too much away. New characters are brought in. After Ingrid Tierney's departure at the end of Book 3, there's a new first desk, Claude Whelan, who Diana Taverner clearly despises, and with good reason. And with Nick Duffy having been dispatched by River Cartwright in the book and Louisa Guy in the show, there's a new top dog, Emma Flight, who Taverner also dislikes. Whenever I hear the phrase top dog, I always think of B. Smith from Prisoner Cell Block H, but I digress. There's also a new spook at Slough House, J.K. Coe. As you may imagine, as one spook enters, another must leave, but I won't say who or how. Having watched the TV series, again I must say in some respects the TV show is better, especially the part where Frank Harkness meets River, and especially what happens after that. While listening to the audiobook, I was waiting for the big, exciting scene at the end, but it never came. And as with the previous books, I found myself chuckling at the very un-PC humour. Rather than move on to Book 5, I downloaded Nobody Walks, a standalone story that features J.K. Coe, who was introduced in this book. It explains a traumatic event in his life that is briefly referenced in Spook Street, but it's hard to say if that event directly caused him to be transferred to Slough House, and it's not a great book. You'll need to wait for my review of that book, but if you can't wait and are thinking of buying it, don't. Back to this book. All in all, I'd give this story a 4.5 out of 5 and the narrator a 5 out of 5. For the books in this series, Sean Barrett is perfect. For the standalone books, however, he really falls short. Would I listen to another book by Mick Herron? Yes, I'm happily working my way through the series. Would I listen to another book narrated by Sean Barrett? For the books in this series, yes, he really is superb, but I think I would struggle to listen to him narrating something else. How about you? Have you listened to any of the Slough House series? Have you seen the TV show? Which do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as I release a new review every week. Thanks for watching.